All right, I'm really excited for this conversation because Jumpsuit has officially invited you to be our first ever ADHD/AuDHD coach.
That's me.
That's you, big deal.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to give a quick intro and then I'll give a little bit of context as to why this relationship is occurring, because it's not very common for an agency to have that kind of role. So I'll give a little context to everybody and then we'll dive into what you do and paint a picture of what it's like to work with you. Sound good?
Perfect. Yes. Well, I'm Neely Kimey. My company is called Weird and Wired. And I just usually say an ADHD and AuDHD coach. I personally am AuDHD. That's me.
Same.
I do a lot of like executive functioning support, skill building, and that kind of stuff. We'll talk more about that. But yeah, that's me.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been fun getting to know you over the past, I don't even know, year or so. You came to the road show a couple months ago and got really integrated there, which was fun, yeah?
Yeah, that was a blast.
Yeah.
I want to go back.
Yeah, same. Awesome. Well, yeah, let me paint a picture as to why we're even here, and then we'll tee you up to talk more. Okay, so for the past 7 years, Jumpsuit really has been positioned as an agency, but what has made us different is that we're an independent network. So even before COVID, we were decentralized, distributed, remote. Everyone was their own boss. And really, Jumpsuit was kind of like this hub that would get a client request and then assemble this dream team of independent freelancers, founders, consultants, and then we'd go do agency things like branding and marketing and build websites and apps and run social media and all that stuff, agency stuff. And over the past several years, we've started doing retreats. And as we have been throwing these retreats for the independent network, we had been pulling in other types of people to kind of support that creative kind of like consciousness, like expansive environment that we create. And so that kind of opened up this whole other independent network that existed outside of agency things. People like energy workers, people who are, like integration coaches and who practice all sorts of modalities. I don't want to say Jared's a shaman because he doesn't like agree with that term, but like that kind of vibe. So we would really kind of integrate those two disparate independent networks together at the Red Show. And then over time, we actually started having clients get curious about that side of us. So we started getting invited to come into companies and support their culture. So we've done things for like Mass Mutual, for instance, like a big insurance company. We actually brought in some Enneagram coaches to support some team dynamics. And so that's been happening over the past several years, is us kind of building custom teams of like agency people and outside of the box people, and coming up with something really unique to support the actual need, which, by the way, like humans are involved in companies and humans have challenges, needs, they need support, right? So anyway, that had been occurring for the past couple of years, and I'm noticing that people are getting a lot more authentic, honest, bold with their requests. And so we're just kind of saying yes to all of it. We're actually going down to a client next weekend and supporting I'm being very careful with my words because I don't want to say too much, but basically it's kind of a life or death situation for this client of ours, like actually, and death is a very like psychedelic experience, at least when you're aware that it is, and so the need to kind of support with some energy work and help the situation transition. Again, I know I'm being very ethereal. We've been asked to do that, which is unbelievable and also completely believable. It's all been like leading here. And so we get to kind of surround this company with yeah, like spiritual support and practical support, like combine that multi-dimensional understanding of what reality is with this like practical 3D like need to get work done and generate money and live and survive and just be fully integrated. So that's where we're heading as a company. Now, as it pertains to ADHD, AuDHD, neurodivergence, um, to no surprise, I think it's like up to founders are up to 500% more likely to be neurodivergent. And so they tend to be a lot of our clients. And then when you look at the freelance network, people who were like the first on their own volition to exit the 9 to 5 in the system and be like, there's gotta be a better way for me to work and exist and do what I love. Those that also tended to be neurodivergent individuals. Um, Nowadays, a lot of people are getting laid off from making big career moves because of AI or whatever. So I'm sure that has changed a bit. But in general, there's a huge neurodivergent pool of people that have found their way to Jumpsuit, either working with us or hiring us to help them. And now that we're stepping into a new version of ourselves where we can really support in all of the ways, I thought it'd be really smart to partner with you. And so, yeah, like, so congratulations on officially being a jumpsuiter. Welcome to the team. I look forward to, through all these different places we exist, social media or the Patreon or our network or whatever, just start to funnel people your way. Cause um, I really like have seen that you've been doing the personal work, the deep work. You've got a strong point of view on how you approach things. You've got a nice little like culture that you've built so far. And you embody that like jumpsuit spirit. So, anyway, that's the intro. I'm really excited though for you to take a moment and really explain what Weird and Wired is, and give people a good picture of, what it might look like to work with you.
Absolutely. So, Weird and Wired, it's kind of like, I mean, I have like future ideas for what I would like for it to morph potentially into, but for now, what it is it's kind of just encompassing all of the not only services or offerings that I provide for like that I get paid to provide, but then also I have lots of free types of offerings that I provide in order to help foster community, get to know more people in like the neurodiversity space in general, and make those connections and help people within my community make connections with other people that are like-minded and that kind of stuff. So some stuff that I do, I have I offer one-on-one coaching, and that's primarily for people with ADHD or AuDHD. I'm considering exploring working more with folks that maybe don't have ADHD present and only identify with the autism label. But that's not something that I'm currently like doing or focusing on. So it's ADHD and AuDHD. Um, a lot of it is focusing on executive functioning skills. It's a lot of it. So people come to an ADHD or AuDHD coach usually with these ideas around productivity, accountability, and what it kind of, in my mind, translates to is their hope is that somehow I'm going to help them to mask well enough in their whatever field they're in, or help them to pretend to be neurotypical. They usually don't use that language to say it, but that's like kind of the subtext that I hear often or can deduce. And so what I do, a lot of it's like focusing more on incremental progress, like developing sustainable systems that work best for their specific brain. Um, and if we try something that doesn't work, back to the drawing board, we can work together to try to find something else. And a lot of my like kind of ideology is based in dismantling neuronormativity, and just this idea of helping my clients to feel more comfortable showing up as themselves, being more unapologetic, um, working on getting more awareness around maybe people pleasing tendencies or things like that that might be holding them back in some way. Um, and so the like executive functioning skills that I focus on, but it's not just limited to these, are things like developing self-awareness, problem-solving skills, motivation, impulsivity, memory, and emotional regulation. But like I said, it doesn't just stop there. And if people come to me and they're like, I feel like I have systems in place that work for me when it comes to memory, I'm not going to try to force you to work on that with me if you already feel good about that. There's going to be plenty for us to talk about, basically. So yeah, a lot of it's like just really trying to help instill more like confidence in them. I'm not trying to change them. I'm hoping that they can start to really embrace the natural abilities that they bring to the table, not just because of their neurotype, but just because of who they are. So that's a lot of like kind of my ideology. I have a neuro align coaching package, which on my website is advertised as being 12 1-hour sessions with me. And I do have a note on there that, and I do mean this, that if 12 sessions seems like it won't work for you for whatever reason, we aren't just stuck with that option, right? So like I want to be very flexible. I want to make sure that whatever we decide, whatever capacity we decide to work together works best and feels accessible to you as the client. So sometimes that could mean like maybe we just work like month to month and see, like reevaluate at the end of the month and see if you want to continue. Sometimes it means seeing people once a month because that's what's in their budget or their availability. Whatever. I try really hard to find a balance between being very flexible while imposing any kind of structure that they might feel is necessary or feel supported by. Something I always like to say is that it's impossible to get in trouble with me. You can't get in trouble with me, which is, I feel like being in trouble is like a feeling that we have to deal with a lot, like at work or with loved ones or people that don't understand us really. And I really work hard to cultivate a safe space during our sessions where you can't get in trouble. Like if you're late, you're not in trouble. Like it's fine. We'll make it work. If you have to cancel last minute, you're not in trouble. I'm not firing you for something, like it's just like communication is key. And like just helping people to feel like they're supported um and like they have at least one place where they can comfortably go and just be themselves without any like potential repercussions for like who they are. And then so along with the one-on-one coaching, that's like one of the main kinds of things that I offer. But along with that, I also offer some free services, I guess you could say. I have the Weird and Wired book club, and we discuss, it's for adults, neurodivergent adults. Any flavor of neurodivergence is welcome. And I like to say that it's very like slow paced and low pressure, the book club is. I try to ensure like we meet weekly on Thursdays at 2 p.m. Central Time. If you can come to that, cool. If you have to skip sometimes, that's fine. Show up however you feel most comfortable. So whether that's being on camera, having your camera off, using the mic or not, typing in the chat or not, you can just lurk. It's okay if you're not caught up on the reading for the week. If you just want to show up and see what the vibe is like, that's fine too. I've made lifelong friends through this book club, or I anticipate them to be lifelong at least. I've gotten clients through the book club too, but it's a really cool space that I look forward to being a part of every single week. So there's that, and that's free to join. And then I have the Body Double Power Hour, which is free body doubling sessions that I host every morning, every weekday. So for most days of the week, it's at 9 a.m. Central Time. Um,
If
sometimes that, yeah.
yeah, if someone doesn't know what body
Ooh.
doubling is, could you define that, please?
Yes, absolutely. So, body doubling, you might hear it by a few different other names, like co-working is another term for it, or like people compare it to parallel play sometimes. So if you've heard of those, but basically it's something that it's this technique that helps with productivity and accountability. Maybe we don't fully understand why it works, but it does seem to work, and it works really well for neurodivergent brains, especially. But basically, we meet in a Zoom call at the same time. And at the beginning of the call, we all say kind of what we would like to make progress on during the call. Um, I don't I don't like to say like I try to avoid terms like goals or things like that that might be daunting for people, but whatever they want to focus on during that time. So we'll share that at the beginning, either in the chat or people can unmute and share. And then I start a timer that everybody can see, and it's kind of like the Pomodoro timer. It's reminiscent of that. So it'll be a timer for people to work for like 25 minutes. We take a 5-minute break in between, because breaks are good for your brain. And then we do another timer to finish out the session. And at the end, we just check in about our progress. So sometimes we got off track. That's fine. Like that's going to happen sometimes, and that's okay. But it's also nice to be able to come back and be like, hey, I did all the things and I did this, or, whatever. And we just all are just cheering each other on. And it's very like, it's just super chill. Again, show up however you want. I've been to body doubling before where they were very strict about like having the camera on and stuff. I'm the anchor for these sessions. If you don't want to have your camera on, don't. Like, let me be the anchor. It's fine, I got
Mm-hmm.
this. So yeah, it's pretty cool. That's free, and I do it every weekday. And I have a lot of people that are like signed up so they can pop in anytime they want, but it's really usually just like a handful of us that actually show up each day. So it's not super intimidating. There's like low barrier to entry kind of thing.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
that's awesome. I might join that for tax season. I just I I just accomplished a 2-year tax, like IRS tax audit. It took 2 years and it was insane. And then it's tax season again, and it is like so hard to sit down at this point. I mean, it's hard in general, but like just to do it. So I completely
Yes.
understand the point of that.
Yeah, and it really can help a lot with like admin stuff, like the boring stuff, because it
So
just is
boring.
nice to like it's nice to see other people and know that other people are making progress on stuff. For whatever reason, it can really help to just motivate you to just stay on task or to get something done so you have something to show for it at the end. Like for whatever reason it works. I'm not questioning why or how. But it's been really cool. I've found that super supportive for me. Um, And then kind of along those similar lines, I also am developing, kind of growing a Discord server community called Weird and Wired, and it's for neurodivergent adults. And it's kind of like on a referral type basis at the moment. Like people invite people that they know kind of fit the vibe, but it's growing. And one of the cool things about it, I post about these regular offerings that I host for like book club and body doubling, but then people can also have impromptu body doubling sessions right in the server. So they'll just post in the body doubling channel, like, hey, I'm going to be in this channel from this time to this time. Anybody's welcome to join. We have a quiet one, we have a chatty one. So if you want to talk while you're getting stuff done, you can. And then I also host, and these are like ever evolving, but I also host other types of sessions with people, mostly for community building purposes, that are happening like monthly or maybe bi-weekly, that I only host for people in that Discord server. And so we have like a crafternoon that happens monthly where people can just bring their own crafts and chit chat while they're doing that. And then we just started one called Share and Solve, which is pretty cool. It's like you just show up if you have a problem in mind, could literally be interpersonal problem. It could be, I don't know how I want to organize something. It could be something big, something small, just whatever you have in mind, pose it to the group, and everybody just kind of spills out whatever comes to mind, like certain solutions that they think of that maybe you could try. They ask clarifying questions to get more information, that kind of stuff. My dogs are getting antsy, so heads up there. But so that's cool. We're starting like a business call soon where all of the people that are like freelancers or self-employed can get together and either hold each other accountable, talk about struggles, like share resources, that kind of stuff. And it's just been so much fun to like get to know these people. You don't have to be active on there every day to still be a part of the community. Like you can just pop in every once in a while. Um, and we're just talking about all kinds of stuff. Anything you could think
Amazing.
of. Yeah, it's really cool. I
It
love
sounds
it.
fun. Yeah. It sounds fun. It's probably time for me to pop in there. What have I been
Please.
doing? Yeah, totally. Awesome. So yeah, so it sounds like there's a ton of ways to get connected for free. To not only you, but also the community that you've built, which is awesome. And then you offer one-on-one coaching, and then to plant a seed if there's anyone who represents a team or an organization that would actually be looking to kind of go deeper culturally with a like a workshop or longer term engagement, even support even beyond what Neely can provide. Like that's really where Jumpsuit kind of can help create that container. um yeah, anything else that feels important or wants to be said?
Well, so this is more of like a longer term kind of plan for me. And you and I have talked a bit about, like I think I'm going to be able to merge some of our ideas together for this. But last year I did a group coaching program for the first time. It went super well. And what I learned from it is I was trying to squeeze too much stuff into one thing. And so what I hope to do is take what I got out of running that group coaching program and turn it into more like specialized, kind of smaller, like shorter term group coaching opportunities. So like workshop type things, or maybe like a month where we meet weekly and we focus on a specific, like building a sustainable morning routine, something like that. Like it could go in a bunch of different directions, right? But I had a lot of people kind of interested in being in that group coaching program. And so that's evolving, and I can see there being a lot of cool stuff coming up, in particular this year, around that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah, yeah, awesome. To plant a seed, because this is kind of coming up like, oh, that'd be really cool to explore, whether I do it with you or you do it or it never happens. Sometimes ideas are just meant to like float on. I'm learning that. I'm always someone that's like, grab it, make it reality. I was thinking like, I'm a big personality type, like infrastructure nerd, so I've gone really deep in the Enneagram and Myers-Briggs. There's human design. There's like all these, you mentioned self-awareness earlier, right? So like there's all these really amazing tools that can help be a mirror, and really kind of show you how you are wired. It would be really interesting to like create a 360 view of a person and pull that into the coaching and practice. Have you done anything like that before?
Um, sort of, kind of. Like, I feel like it's kind of an ever evolving thing. I have like these specific assessments that I have my clients do, my one-on-one clients do. And it's like strengths, saboteurs, those like kind
Mm-hmm.
of typical life coaching type assessments or exercises. But then I also ask them for their human design, which is another way for me to kind of maybe gauge their understanding of that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff, or maybe their openness to exploring that kind of stuff. And there's also this assessment called Sparketypes that I'm low-key obsessed with. And it's kind of just like showing you these different types of skills that you might be really good at, and it gives you an idea of maybe what is filling your cup versus what's draining you, regardless
Mm-hmm.
how good you are at it or how much praise you get for doing a good job at it. Um, so I use those, and then I end up pulling from all of those all the time while I'm meeting with one-on-one clients to kind of inform what might work best for the client, or, you know, different solutions or different
Yeah.
systems we could try. So, and I'd love to build on that. Like, I'd love to have learn more about Enneagrams myself and incorporate that kind of stuff into it as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. Well, I'm so excited you're here. I'm going to post this video on our Patreon. I'm going to post a link as to make it easy for people to find you. And yeah, we'll just kind of see what unfolds. Like, I anticipate doing many different collabs and calls and stuff with you over the course of the year. I really love the work that you're doing, the culture that you're building, and I hope that we find a lot of opportunities to like pull you in to do more with us.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Yay! All right. Neely Kimey, everybody. Weird and Wired.